Hi, I'm Donna Miller with Miller Crafts. I'm going to show you how to make a grid to line up your sentiments and your stamps for cards. If you like this video, please click subscribe and don't forget to hit that bell to get notified of future videos. To get started, you will need to download the grid that can be found on my blog, which is millercrafts.blogspot.com. I'm using a transparency film that teachers used to use for overhead projectors. And I'm going to go low tech on this, even though you can print on the transparency film. I prefer just cutting it out to size and taping it down on top of the grid, because I did print on this and it took me over 2 hours to get it unstuck from my printer. So I do not recommend printing the grid on the transparency film. If you do not have access to transparency film, then I recommend that you buy Cricut acetate. So you want to cut your transparency film to match the size of your grid, tape it down, and then use a ruler to line up the grid lines. Use a fine tip Sharpie marker to trace your grid lines onto your transparency film. As you are doing this, you want to start from the top of your grid and work your way down. That way your ruler will not be laying on top of any of the lines that you drew, and it will reduce the amount of bleeding that could be caused from the Sharpie marker. As you are drawing your lines across the paper, you want to make sure that you pause with the ruler at the end, so that will prevent bleeding caused from the Sharpie marker. As I'm drawing this next line, you can see where the ruler dragged the Sharpie marker across, and you see that bleeding on the grid right there. If you notice bleeding on the grid, just gently remove your ruler away, use a baby wipe, and you can wipe off the smudge. As long as your Sharpie marker isn't dry, it will come off and it will be very hard to even notice. As you are wiping that off, you will need to lift up on your grid to see if you removed any other lines with the Sharpie marker, and then you will need to redraw in those lines with your ruler. Once you are done with your grid, you want to count 10 blocks over and use a yellow Sharpie marker and draw a line down on the center of your grid. This will make it easier for you to line up your sentiments or your stamps on your grid. So I want to give a special shout out to one of our subscribers. Thank you so much for watching and for suggesting this video to me. If anyone else has a recommendation for a video, please let me know in the comments below and I'll be sure to make a video on the topic that you need. So if you like this video, please click and subscribe, and don't forget to hit that bell to get notified of future videos.